Councilmember Gruber, Councilmember Leslie Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Lupien,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Monroe,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson, Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Vice President Harris,
Here.
President Melendez.
Here.
Thank you.
To speak to council is a time for members of the public to comment on any and all matters relating to the city. Sign-ups for this session closed at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon. The list of speakers can be found at the back of the room and in the hallway. Under City Council rules, the city clerk will call city residents first. Since this is the Rochester City Council, we first prioritize our citizens speaking to their elected representatives. As a reminder, the council is here to listen to all matters, and it is customary that we do not respond. As there are no public hearings this month, we will begin our Speak to Council session. All speakers will be given 2 minutes at the podium. We respectfully ask that each speaker offer the council the same respect they would expect to receive in return. In doing so, please refrain from profanity and other harmful language. Please note that Speak to Council is a time for members of the public to speak to this legislative body as a whole, not directly call out any individual members of City Council or staff. In that vein, please do not direct any comments at any specific individuals on this body or in this room. Council members do have the contact information for all the speakers that signed up tonight and may follow up on any concerns that pique their interest. City Clerk Hazel Washington will call each speaker to the podium. We ask that you respect the time of those waiting behind you and yield the podium at the end of your allotted 2 minutes. Clerk Washington.
Kevin McBride from the East District.
I'll repeat again. After reviewing introductory number 58, I noticed an important opportunity the Regional Transit Service can use to have inbound buses service the 2 downtown Rochester library buildings on downtown South Ave. Inbound buses going northbound in South Clinton can be served by RTS to service the downtown library buildings after that part of South Ave is fully a 2-way street. To ensure that RTS inbound buses can serve the downtown library buildings like the outbound buses do, I want to see resolution number 58, or introductory 58, amended to say that there will be plenty of space for inbound buses that, after the 2-way capability is done on South Ave, can make the right turn on Court Street to South Ave without forcing traffic to back up. Please take this opportunity to show you are for the disability community by amending resolution number 58. My physically disabled neighbors at Pinnacle Apartments that go to the downtown library buildings can really use a bus stop that both inbound and outbound service both library buildings' front entrances. Thank you.
Carl Giordino is from the Northwest District, followed by Richard Rosen.
Okay, hang on, here we go. I'm here today to ask for your help with some safety concerns that I have observed recently. We had a crossing guard struck and injured on Joseph Ave and Upper Falls Boulevard. We also experienced a regional transit bus smashed with people injured on Clifford and Hudson. Unsafe driving has become the norm in the Rochester city limits. I'd like to suggest a campaign to end unsafe driving with a focus on enforcement, not only driving rules, but also strict penalty enforcement. Driving a motor vehicle requires licensing, and like any other licensing agency, you must comply or your license can be revoked. It seems simple. Snow plowing has also attracted my attention. Not only are City of Rochester plow drivers, but also private plow companies and contractors operating within the city borders. Plowing snow onto sidewalks, plowing snow into our streets, and plowing on to other neighbors' properties, all violations to city code and seemingly commonplace lately. I have personally witnessed all of these nonconformances and reported them all to 311, Karen St. Auburn, and also Anna Keller. That's off now. Sorry about that. And also Anna Keller with the Northwest District. With minimal response and even less resolve as these issues continue with almost every snowfall. Excessive speeds by plow drivers is my biggest concern. These drivers are, in my opinion, out of control with their heavy, large, dangerous construction machines. I would like to suggest a licensing program within the city limits if you want to plow inside the city borders. The fee charged for these licenses would pay for training materials and ordinance compliance inspections and a placard to identify each driver as formally trained and licensed. That should improve safety, including where to and where not to pile snow. I would also recommend a snow emergency be issued each time snowfall exceeds 10 inches per event. Get the cars off the streets to allow for proper clearing of snow throughout the city. One last dangerous condition is that
Yes,
plowing
sir.
for our
Sir,
crossing
your time
guards
is up.
plowing for our crossing guards needs to be addressed currently. Nobody assures that the crossing guard safely.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Richard Rosen. He's from the East District, followed by Robin Collins.
Good evening, I'm Richard Rosen. I live 2 blocks from 125 Charlotte Street at number 50. I'm here to deliver to you a petition to preserve the East End Green signed by 761 Rochester residents. These petitions include comments many of them have made, the date signed, and always list their zip code. The petition states, we call upon the city to reject any development of the vacant lot that we call the East End Green to prevent Union Street from becoming a continuous wall of buildings. We uphold the 2034 comprehensive plan by preserving accessible open space for hundreds of residents. We honor the 2034 plan identification of green space as a top citizen concern with concrete action, not just words. We ask for this lot to be protected green space in perpetuity. We recognize that this lot currently serves as a functioning park and crime deterrent for our neighborhood. I'm leaving a copy of this petition and a copy for the mayor. An electronic file will be forwarded to the city clerk for your convenience. In my remaining few minutes, I want to remind you that there are alternative city-owned sites at or near downtown which can offer affordable townhouses or condominiums to allow families of lower income to build generational wealth. These include 151 Mount Hope, 61 Well, 32 Well, 52 Lyndhurst, 115 Skylane Drive, 302 Scioto, 62 and 64 Scioto, and 77 and 79 Delavan. Thank you for hearing me.
Robin Collins. Robin here.
Both of them. Thank you.
Judith Loeb, East District.
Good evening. My name is Judy Loeb, and I'm here to urge the council to vote to preserve the green space located at 125 Charlotte Street, known as the East End Green. I live about a block and a half away on Charlotte Street. Over 700 people have signed the petition to save the East End Green as permanent green space. I would like to share comments from a few petitioners. Their themes include enhancing community, preserving health benefits, enhancing safety. The following are direct quotes. John F. wrote, "Green spaces are not just aesthetic features, they are vital urban assets that support cleaner air, stronger communities, and more resilient economies, ensuring cities remain healthy and sustainable for generations to come." Rosalind G. wrote, "The space is a place for neighbors to meet, talk, and become friends. It is a space for children to play. It is community." Jeremy C. wrote, "Green space is critical to mental and physical health." Sally M. wrote, "Before this park, kids from the nearby apartments would play in the street. That is especially unsafe as many drivers drive fast or irresponsibly in the area. The green also provides greater line of sight to and from Union Street to Charlotte Street, which again enhances safety for pedestrians and residents, especially after dark. In closing, I urge the council to please uphold the city's comprehensive plan by preserving the East End Green in perpetuity so it remains accessible open space for all city residents. Thank you for your time."
Jeffrey Smith is from the East District, followed by Maggie Kane.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeffrey Smith, and I'm here tonight to urge you, the city council members, that green spaces in a city that's building apartments all over the place, that green spaces are precious to those of us that live in this city, especially in the East End. I live directly across from the East End Green, and I could see it from my balcony. I have lived on the East End for about 10 years, and specifically at my current address for 6 years. While here, I have witnessed so many beautiful moments, from the wedding photo shoot that I saw one day, to bands playing on the green, to people flinging their frisbee with their dogs playing. All of this within a stone's throw of my balcony facing the green. It's truly a wonderful feeling witnessing people having good, clean fun in this precious space that is part of Rochester's East End vibe. Now, with that being said, imagine that it could become even more than what it is now. My proposal for this space comes from seeing green spaces all the way from Seattle's Pioneer Square to Manhattan's Greenwich Village and Central Park. My proposal is this. Imagine a remarkable area that doesn't exist yet in Rochester. It would be a mecca for all levels of chess players to come and compete, to enjoy, and become recognized as some of the best in the city. The people showing up would be there for a cerebral experience, quiet thinking, civility, not a loud, boisterous crowd that brings music, alcohol, drug use. We don't want that. All that would be required is to install 4 to 5 poured concrete tables with chessboards permanently inlaid, and maybe with sunshades attached, if possible. Once this happens, I believe the East End itself would become, as I said, a mecca for chess players. And I urge the city council to give this some serious thought. This would add ambiance, and we would be known all over the state and the city. Thank you.
Maggie Kane is from the East District, followed by Marcus C. Williams.
Hi, I'm Maggie Kane from Voices of Verona Street. About 3 years ago, I met with Shirley Green, Commissioner of Parks and Human Services, that actually oversees Rochester Animal Services and Animal Control, and was assured that we have an animal control officer on duty paid by my city taxes after 4 o'clock. I don't think we do, because they never pick up the phone. The system isn't working. Why can't we designate a phone line instead of calling 911? Okay? We do that. Animals are freezing. They're left out in the cold. No one comes to get them. Lollipop Farm, RPD, RAS, everybody arguing who's accountable, who's responsible. Okay, the city is a mess, filled with dogs, mostly in neighborhoods that have actually been forgotten by the mayor. Lollipop Farm, who are our cruelty officers, a lot of them are retired sheriffs who don't want to deal with the city. So I'm not really sure why we can't get our own designated officer to work within the city. I know the mayor would have to actually pay it and pony up some money, but we have rainy day funds, okay, and right now it's raining lots of animal cruelty in our city. Okay, and you can't keep turning a blind eye to it. All I can say is to those 3 organizations, RAS, Lollipop Farm, RPD, check your egos at the door and actually do what we're paying you to do, which is to serve our community. Thank you.
Marcus C. Williams is from the South District, followed by Jill Orbach.
Hey everybody, Marcus C. Williams here, and I come before you guys tonight to reach out. I sent you guys all over, I think maybe 1 or 2 of you didn't have an email yet, but I sent you all over a full piece of legislation in regards to limiting biometric surveillance in our public spaces in our city. I have not heard back from anyone except Stanley, which is crazy because y'all know my relationship with Stanley and our history. So that's kind of messed up. Thank you, Stanley. Okay, so I haven't heard back from anybody. I haven't heard about a status of where it may be. Is it in committee? Have we heard anything? Is it in legal? Is it going to be voted on? What's going on with that? In addition to that, the bill also not only protects our privacy out in our space, because we have facial recognition, we have gait detection, that's how you walk. We have all types of other different types of recognition where they are clocking you all the time through surveillance, and then they're selling your data off, and they're telling you, oh, well, it's for your safety. It's for whose safety? Who is getting this data? Where will this data go? How will this data be handled? I presented something similar last year. People told me, oh, it's not a big deal, so we won't address it, but now it's a big deal. Where are we on this? I also, in that piece of legislation, put forth cash protection, which is our access to be able to use cash in actual businesses in the city, because they are starting to strip that away, and cash is legal American tender. And a lot of people don't want to deal with the banks and all of this other stuff, and why are we not able to use our actual cash money? So this is a serious issue. I've given you the legislation. You don't even have to write anything. You don't even have to write anything, because I know you guys don't like to write anything. I know you guys like to deal with everything else. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm trying to be serious. I know people got lives and stuff. But I've given it to you. Please, you guys, reach back. This is a serious issue. I need you guys to take it serious. And everybody's just like, huh. Y'all be blessed.
Jill Orbach is from the East District, followed by Willette McFadden.
Okay. Can you hear me? Closer. Hello. My name is Jill Orbach, and I live at 14607 zip code. I wish to preserve 125 Charlotte Street as a green space known by my neighbors as the East End Green. When the view-blocking 5-story apartment building at 270 East Avenue was constructed, there were plans to build on the corner of Charlotte and Union Street. After many months without activity and seeing construction debris all around, my neighbors asked the city to clean up the area and make a green space. The city transformed the corner with green grass, trees, benches, a concrete slab, doggy bag dispenser, and wheelchair accessible tables. These tables are perfect for my daughter, who uses an electric wheelchair. The green space has become a place to meet my neighbors, watch them walk their pets and service animals, see children play safely, hear impromptu music, engage in Lego building or board games, and experience natural beauty and calm near a sometimes busy intersection. Recently, Rochester experienced some of the best snow for snowshoeing in many years. Because I live a half block away, I've been able to snowshoe more in this space in this past few weeks than in 20 years. For me, it's a great cardio workout, all without needing to drive somewhere else. I'm asking City Council to preserve 125 Charlotte Street as a green space. Let it be the model for how Rochester builds back community in our vibrant city. Thank you.
Willette McFadden. Willette McFadden. Lori Thomas is of the East District, followed by Maria Gonzalez.
Good evening. I want to begin by invoking my First Amendment rights to express my views and beliefs openly. All of you are evil. What is the difference between good and evil? Good works for others, while evil works for itself. For you to lie to the public that pays your salary, to steal from the people who can barely afford it, to ignore the suffering of the people, their children, their loved ones, and their pets is evil incarnate. For more than a decade, I have presented Rochester's leaders with actionable programs and policies that would lower homelessness, increase the standard of living, raise the level of educational success, reduce violent crime, increase the opportunity for generational wealth, and most importantly, raise our children out of the poverty they have been experiencing in Rochester for decades. Not one administration in the city of Rochester has asked me about any of my plans or programs, even though many of you absolutely know about them. Why? Because you are evil. kowtowing to the elite, the rich and famous, wanting desperately to be in their club. You, being evil, work for yourselves, doing what the party tells you to do in order to advance your political careers. How far do you want to go politically? How much money do you want to make? How many people are you willing to destroy? These are the questions of evil. Affordable housing that few can afford, projects that have absolutely no relevance in increasing the standard of living, ignoring the violence in communities you wish to gentrify, and allowing our children to continue in a system of education that promises to provide a proper education to only 14 to 16% of our children. This is the confirmation that you are all evil. You see, when you support a system that is evil, when you deny the system you support is evil, when you do your best to convince others that the evil system you support is good for the people, you are evil incarnate. My prayers go out to all of you. Life is a choice, and there are only two, good or evil. I pray that you choose differently.
Maria Gonzalez from the East District, followed by Jamie Ramondi.
Okay, I'm here to talk about safety. We always talk about safety. 14609 is not safe. There's gunshot every night. I don't know what's controlling. They say that they have about bullying, about the bullets sounding and stuff like that. But we have shots every night. Hayward, Grant, Bay, and somebody's getting stabbed. Somebody's getting hurt. Children are missing. Come on. What more do we want? We want our safety back. We cannot walk no more safe. We have to turn around to see who is next to us because you don't know if that bullet is coming to you. Okay? So we have to do something about it. Okay? School, I already talked to City School District about why there are so many kids out in the streets, why they are not in school, okay? So we have to do something. In pictures, we see all these kids are missing. Missing from where? Where's the parents there? Why they don't communicate? Come on, we gotta come together. We have to do something about our youth, something that they have to, we have to understand what is going through their minds, okay? Because remember, out there, it's no good. Out there, they go homeless and they go on drugs, okay? Or they go even kill somebody, okay? So we have to, as an adult and as a parent, or as an adult and parent, we have to take those kids out of the street and make sure that whoever is kidnapping or whoever is using those kids for something, get what they need to do. Thank you.
Jamie Ramondi is from the East District, followed by Michael McMullins.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Ramondi, and I'm here as part of a group of local residents called PARA, Passion and Action Advocates for Rochester Animals. We are not paid, funded, or elected. We are residents who are exhausted from watching animals suffer while the laws meant to protect them go unenforced. On February 7th, 2026, we spent days calling, emailing, documenting, and reporting dozens of dogs left outside in sub-zero temperatures in Rochester. One dog curled in a ball on top of snow, no proper shelter, no food, no water, tethered and unable to escape. That dog sat there for days. After repeated calls and no action, a resident stepped in and rescued that dog. Why are residents going into some of the most dangerous parts of the city to protect animals? Because our compassion outweighs our fear, but it should not have to. In the last month, PARA has mobilized faster, documented more cases, and physically intervened more than those in positions to help. That is not a badge of honor. It is a red flag. Relief from one rescued dog does not fix the systemic failure for all others still suffering tonight. Under New York State agriculture and markets law, neglecting animals is illegal. Dogs kept outdoors must have proper shelter, food, water, and protection from extreme weather. These are not gray areas, these are violations. Yet repeat offenders continue to own animals. Addresses are reported again and again. Complaints are documented and the suffering continues. We are not asking to replace enforcement agencies. We are asking them to do their jobs they are empowered and funded to do. Why are repeat offenders not being prosecuted? Why aren't known abusers banned from owning animals? Why aren't cruelty complaints resulting in visible enforcement? Why aren't there more officers dedicated to these cases? We need prosecution and ownership bans for repeat abusers. We need staffing, accountability, and transparency. Most importantly, we need consequences. Animal cruelty is linked to a broader violence in our communities. When we ignore it, we allow it to grow. We are demanding that the suffering end because right now, the people protecting the most vulnerable in this city are unpaid residents who refuse to look away. That is not sustainable and it is not acceptable. Thank you.
Michael McMullins is from the East District, followed by Lorraine Parr.
Good evening, City Council members and neighbors. My name is Mike McMullen. I'm here to urge the Council to preserve the green space at 125 Charlotte. I humbly ask you to keep the East End green space as it is or to improve it because it's important for our neighborhood's emotional, physical, and social well-being. To support this claim, I cite the findings of the Congress for the New Urbanism based in Washington, D.C., and Dr. Cecil Koningdijk from the University of British Columbia, the founder of the forestry guideline rule called the 330-300 rule. There are proven benefits of viewing, living amongst, and having access to green spaces for recreational use. Having trees and other vegetation within sight of one's home or workplace has important emotional, social, and physical health benefits. These measured impacts have led to the development of the 330-300 urban forestry rule. It aims to provide equitable access to trees and green spaces by having at least 3 well-established mature trees in view from every home, workplace, or school, a tree canopy of at least 30% in every neighborhood, and a public green space no further than 300 meters from every residence. The threshold of 300 meters is equivalent to a 5-minute walk and is often cited as a maximum distance beyond which people are less inclined to visit regularly. This threshold is also supported by the World Health Organization. In closing, I encourage you, our City Council members, to please consider the proven benefits of urban green spaces and preserve our East End green. Thank you for your valuable time and consideration.
Lorraine Parr is from the South District, followed by Jasmine Brumfield.
Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Well, I'm sure you all watched the news of the frozen dogs. I'm sure you saw it. You must not. You must have saw it. Anyway, I'm just going to read the rules of the Rochester, these laws that you guys are not enforcing, and I want to know why. So, according to the City of Rochester, you are only allowed 4 dogs over 4 months old in a single family home. Well, we're seeing more than that in these houses that are backyard breeding, and these dogs are freezing. So what is going on? I want to know what's going on. Why are you guys not letting the police enforce these laws? I can't believe I saw, 6 or 10 cops at that one address for one person, and you wouldn't even let them go and get that dog? You don't even let the police go get the people that are stealing cars, let alone, who is this special person? I want to know. There's a lot of nepotism going on in this city government. Where is the money going? I've seen there's something fishy going on. There's something fishy going on with this animal shelter. I don't know where this money's going, but we're going to find out. The law says that dogs are not to be outside 32 degrees or below, or 90 or above. Why in extreme weather conditions you are not allowing the police to make arrest? You're supposed to be, first offense is a $250 fine and a potential 1 year in jail. These are from your websites. You guys are not enforcing the law. That's why that lawsuit's going to win. That man that's filing that lawsuit, you guys are in big trouble. Big trouble. You're in big trouble. You will lose the law. You are going to lose. You're not enforcing laws that are on the books and letting animals die, letting even people die. You let them die too. You're letting people fight dogs. You're letting every kind of weirdness go on in this city. I think you're doing it on purpose. I know you are, because there's something bizarre going on here. There's fraud going on in this county. Why are you protecting the drug dealers? Why? Why are you protecting drug dealers?
Jasmine Brumfield. Jasmine Brumfield. Albert Agarin. Betsy Nomberg is from the East District.
Good evening, esteemed council members. My name is Betsy Nomberg. I'm here to speak on behalf of preserving the East End Green. I've lived in the city of Rochester since 1979. I've worked in the city of Rochester since 1979, and all three of my children graduated from Rochester City Schools. I am a committed Rochesterian. When I watched the revitalization of downtown, it was with great excitement. I watched friends of mine move back into the city. I watched arts events happen. I watched all sorts of exciting things going on. And then I drove down Union Street with dismay to see housings built stacked upon each other with no green space right up to the edge of the sidewalk without opportunities for citizens to be outside. As a healthcare provider, the health and well-being of the citizens of Rochester are of concern to me. There are two great epidemics we're dealing with: isolation and sedentary lifestyles. Green space provides an antidote to both of those things. You've already heard testimony about how this green space has brought the community together. We also want the downtown to thrive. We know that the infrastructure of a city is what makes it blossom. Green spaces are vital to that. Finally, in summation, what I invite you to think about is 5 years from now, when you look back to the decision you made about this space. If there is another building there, are you going to feel good? Or if there is a green space that has been preserved to glorify Rochester, will you feel better? Thank you very much.
Rosalind Best. Is Rosalind here? From the East District, Northeast District.
Rosalind Bax Goldman. You left my name out. That's why I didn't answer so fast.
Goldman?
Goldman, Rosalind Bax Goldman. For a long time. I live and work downtown, and I've been downtown for 27 years. Attracting people to live downtown has been a really big goal of the city, and it's been very successful. However, we are simply offering them housing on streets that are merely tunnels between high-rise buildings. The Pocket Park on Charlotte Street has brought a positive atmosphere to people who wish to sit outside in the good weather, to read, to play, for kids to play, and to neighbors to get together and converse. A real neighborhood. Ending this advantage to city dwellers would be a travesty. Thank you.
Angelina Sargent. Angelina Sargent. Joyce Nelson. Michael Lohr. Oh, I'm sorry. Joyce is first. Michael. Joyce is first. She is here. Joyce is from the Northwest District, followed by Michael Lohr.
My name is Joyce Nelson, and I'm here to read a formal complaint requesting an oversight review of 64 Murray Street and 26 Finch Street, code enforcement, and a certificate of occupancy issue. Dear member of City Council, I respectfully submit this complaint requesting that the City Council oversight and administration review certain serious housing enforcement and legal concerns involving a property located at 64 Murray and 26 Finch Street. My concerns relate to the city code enforcement practice, certificate of occupancy, and the handling and condition affecting lawful occupancy, tenant safety, and housing stability. 64 Murray, I resided there from January 2026 through November of 2019. The property certificate was expired September 1st of 2012. Occupancy and rent collection continued for years thereafter. The structure contained an unapproved attic dwelling area, multiple violations, and unsafety conditions later documented by the city. Eviction proceedings initiated despite compliance concerns. At 26 Finch Street, concerning questions about certificate of occupancy, condition required code enforcement, violation affecting habitability.
Your time is up.
According to both properties, I respectfully request an inspection, documentation, enforcement procedure.
Joyce,
Yes.
your time is up.
Concerns regarding
Nelson, we have a copy of the letter.
Yes, and I would like it to be made sure it's put in the public record.
All right, thank you. We will make sure that we follow up.
Michael Lohr. Michael's from the South District.
Hello, Council. It's been a while. I didn't forget about you, honestly. So, Michael Lohr representing Voiceless of Verona Street, along with some new friends from Para tonight. Woo! So I'd like to start by taking you back to 12/12 of 24. Here's an excerpt from something I read to you that date 2 years ago. Procrastination is the act of delaying or putting off tasks until the last minute or past their deadline. It's not just a time management problem. Research suggests that it's a failure in self-regulation that leads us to act irrationally. Yeah, irrationally. I would say that's the case here. We're coming up on 4 years, actually 6, because this was 2 years old, of bringing you our concerns, complaints, and solutions for the city's shelter, along with basic animal rights issues. And what have you done? Procrastinate. Now jump back ahead to today. We have 87 Sherman Street, an inner city address that is the subject of dog cruelty complaints by concerned citizens for at least 5 years, not to mention 14 visits from Lollipop Farm. And still, dogs are not only suffering, but dying. Now stop and think of the recent temperatures we've endured, 25 below with a wind chill. Raise your hand if you think that is acceptable conditions for dogs to remain outside. Raise your hand if you think leaving dogs outside in these conditions is cruelty. Raise your hand if you've had enough. Okay, so at the center of this absurd debacle, there's 3 entities. We got Rochester Animal Services, Rochester Police Department, and Lollipop Farm, each one capable of addressing these concerns. Nobody's stepping up. Not one entity is stepping up to own this problem. What more is it going to take? A dead dog every day? So how about we stop the finger pointing and someone step up and take the responsibility?
Your
I
time
don't
is
even know
up.
what else to say. I'm done. I'm just
Mickey DePerna. Mickey is from the South District, followed by Clifford Florence Jr.
Good evening, Council. My name is Mickey DePerna, and I'm with the group Rochester Grants Pass Resistance. As I read President's report on homelessness, I was struck by a deep sadness because it feels as though the heart of the issue is being missed. The report calls homelessness a public health crisis. That is true, but a public health crisis for whom? Again and again, the focus of shifts towards the discomfort and distress of housed residents while the suffering and death of unhoused people remains secondary. This is especially clear in the way overdose deaths are discussed in this report. Overdose deaths are framed primarily as traumatic events for others to witness. They are, but unhoused people are not just scenes in somebody else's trauma. They are human beings dying from preventable causes every day. They die from overdose, they die from untreated cancer, from strokes, from diabetes without insulin, from infections, from exposure to extreme cold. How many unhoused people died outside in the cold this year? Where are those statistics in that report? Because I know of at least 3 people who've died in the past couple weeks in this cold. The survey data itself reveals whose voices were prioritized, with only 11% of the survey's respondents being unhoused people. But of course that's how this ended up, because the survey itself was through a QR code. You had to have internet access. Who is unhoused and has internet access and can use a QR code? The report acknowledges that sweeps have made things worse. They sever trust with outreach workers. They increase risk. And yet, despite this testimony, the report does not recommend an end to encampment sweeps. Instead, you wish to continue them under the language of public health? That is not public health. That is displacement dressed up as compassion. The inclusion of law enforcement in response to homelessness undermines any claim to a public health approach. Police are not healthcare providers. They are not housing specialists. They are not trauma-informed responders. This report frames what housed neighbors and what unhoused neighbors want as two separate things that are conflicting, and they're not conflicting. The answer is housing.
Your time is
it's
up.
It's housing. And when you sweep encampment,
Clifford Florence Jr. Clifford is from the South District, followed by Amanda Sally.
Hello, everybody. I'm sure everybody knows exactly who I am. I've never done one thing to anybody sitting on this board except hold everybody accountable to what I was told on any matter that I had. I want to first start off by thanking Ms. Mary Lupin for responding to an email that Mr. Eagle sent out to everybody. Only one person responded. That goes to show that people really choose how they want to handle people based on who they think that you are to them. In these 3 years, I don't have time to express now, but on Facebook in a post, I'm going to put everything on the treatment that I've received from everybody sitting on this council. You would think that the people who are new on this council would be the first ones to say, I'm going to respond to anybody that comes across me because I want to show how fair I am and how impartial I am. But as collective as you all say you really are as individuals, because everybody has their own agenda. And I try to emphasize to people, you all make people seem like we're the bad guy when we can't even get an email responded to. People pick and choose how. Mitch Gruber, I try to handle you with respect. I asked for a meeting. You told me you didn't want to meet with me. I've never done one thing to you, bruh. You took my church off of the food link list because we wanted to stay longer to hand out food to needy people. Now we can't serve people because you wanted to throw a fit about us handing out food past the time. So now Central Church of Christ, we can't hand out food like we're supposed to because you took us off the list. That's wrong.
So, excuse me, I just want to remind everyone, if we can pause the time for a moment, that we are not to address individual members of council. You address the council as a body. Thank you.
Food link.
Excuse me, we're going to maintain order in the room, though, as well, please. Thank you.
Can I get my 5 seconds back, please?
We'll give you 5 seconds, and then he'll start it again.
I've never done one thing to anybody. So I ask, please and thank you and please. The email that Mr. Eagle sent out, if everybody can please and thank you, be so kind to respond to that email, because I would like to work with everybody the right way. I don't want to have to be put in position to where I have to come to people's homes to get them to respond to me. And when I do come to people's homes, I come with peace. All I want people to do is just address matters that I know can be done. Nobody took office to say, I'm going to serve people that I like and X out Clifford Florence Jr., people that support him. That's
Clifford,
not how
your
we're
time
gonna
is
move
up.
the city. So
Thank
please
you.
and thank you, and please. That email that Mr. Eagle sent out, I would please appreciate. So kind. Thank you.
Amanda Sally from the Northwest District, followed by Marion Austin.
Good evening, council members. My name is Amanda, and I am here tonight as a Rochester resident. Okay. I
Is the
am
green
part
light
of-
on? I'm sorry. Is the green light on in front of you?
Yes.
Can we restart the time, please?
Thank you. My name is Amanda, and I am here tonight as a Rochester resident. I am part of a group called Passion and Action Advocates for Rochester Animals. For years, residents have reported dogs left outside in freezing temperatures, without food, water, proper shelter, and in some cases suffering from visible injuries and signs consistent with neglect or fighting. These reports are documented. The laws that address these conditions already exist. The problem is not the absence of laws, the problem is the lack of enforcement. Because complaints often result in little or no action, community members have begun reaching out directly to our advocacy group instead of calling the authorities. These are neighbors who have made reports for years with no resolution, people who are forced to listen to dogs crying, barking, and suffering outside their homes day and night, feeling helpless and unheard. As a result, advocates are now showing up to these locations where animals are in distress. We are not law enforcement, we are not trained for conflict, yet we are putting ourselves in dangerous situations to bring attention to suffering animals. Because of this work, advocates in this community, including myself, have been threatened, our addresses are being shared, our vehicles are being photographed. We are facing retaliation because we are filling a gap that should not exist. On February 17th, I was face-to-face with leadership of Lollipop Farm and had the opportunity to ask why there's no citations, no arrests, or removal of these abused animals. During that conversation, the decision to not issue animal cruelty citations was described as a matter of discretion, similar to the discretion an officer might use when deciding whether to issue a speeding ticket. With respect, animal cruelty is not a minor traffic violation. When clear standards are not enforced consistently, suffering continues on and public confidence is lost. This is not an animal welfare issue. This is a public safety issue also.
Marion Austin is from the Northwest District. Marion is followed by Jeremy Austin.
Hello, City Council. I'm here on behalf of, I am here on behalf of Austin's Animal Protective Services, and I have my service dog Miley with me here. I am coming here because we have a situation where dogs I have seen have been left out in the cold very many times. They've come to me emaciated. They've come to me abused, neglected. Nobody has addressed this with the owners properly. And I believe that it's not just the Rottweilers and any types of those dogs. It's pit bulls. They also need our help. And I'm tired of seeing people leave pit bulls abandoned and left to fend for themselves. And I believe that the city council should start taking into consideration the pit bulls. They're not as aggressive as people believe. They're very lovable, even though people do them wrong. That is all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Jeremy Austin. Jeremy Austin. Jeremy is from the Northwest District, followed by Eugene Evans.
Hi, City Council. My name is Jeremy Austin. I'm on behalf of Austin's
Animal Protective Services. I'm here to address the situation of animals being abused and left out in the cold, which I think is ridiculous. Because last time I knew, animal abuse is against the law, but seems like animals are not getting justice that they deserve. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Eugene Evans. Eugene Evans is from the East District, followed by Cheryl Robinson.
Good evening, Council. I live about a mile from the park at 125 Charlotte Street, and I bike past it at least once a week on my way to the public market, and it's always nice to see the park when I come up South Union. Green space is incredibly important to life in a city. It's a place to renew one's connection to nature as well as to encounter fellow residents. And there is precious little green space on the rest of South Union between Monroe and Main. The city's own 2034 comprehensive plan calls for additional common open space. And it seems to me that 125 Charlotte Street should be officially used for that purpose. And looking ahead to the next phase of the inner loop removal project, 125 Charlotte Street will likely end up being even more important as a community focal point. So I'm asking City Council to not only prevent development of 125 Charlotte Street for business or residential purposes, but also to improve it as a park space and community common area. Thank you.
Cheryl Robinson. Abdul Bounds is from the Northeast District, followed by Inez Burns.
All right. Well, here again to speak about this sanctuary city policy thing. We all know our amendments. I'm not going to read it all out loud, but 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment says, pretty much, if you know your amendments. No person that's not born here in this land. Like, do y'all get it through your head? Do you people read this? Do you people understand what this says? Obviously, here in Rochester, New York, we don't understand what this says. Our children inside of our schools don't understand what this is. Democrat, Republican, conservative, can we all just get along? Can we all work together? This is why I'm here. I am calling people out over social media. City level, state level, federal level. Democrat, Republican. I don't care no more. I am fed up because, again, y'all party said it. Nobody is, bigger than the law? I rest my case.
Inez Burns. Inez. Kevin Yoist. Kevin's from the town of Henrietta.
Good evening. My name is Kevin Yost, 1474 Mill Road in town of Henrietta. Tonight I'd like to dovetail what was said by another suburban resident from a different suburb of the surrounding county at last month's speaker council meeting, Mr. Kevin Lockhart, regarding metro government. False, misleading campaign ads in 2003 county's legislature campaign featured a Pac-Man reaching out for the city, swallowing up all the surrounding towns and villages and school districts, and that was not true. What would be is the current city council or county legislature leaders within the city would be controlled. Municipal services district was the same when Buffalo was being advocating metro government, and perhaps by referendum there could be 9 council districts rather than 5 being at large by referendum. Perhaps also referendum a city comptroller. The 2 years between the mayor's terms, that when the county executive and the county DA are if that were to happen, it would be the 14th largest city in the county, and in the country. And Buffalo, if they would have done it, would have been the 11th largest city in the county, and then hopefully the city comptroller would be the county controller referendum. Would have to referendum to make this metro government would have to pass the majority of the city residents as well as majority of the county residents, and the city council needs to be televised with the interpreter, just the same as we do in Henry for all our boards. Thank you. All the boards, not just city.
Russell Kelly. Russell Kelly. Zoe Christanasis. It's from the town of Chili.
Here are two victims of Rochester's cruelty. One found stuck frozen to the ground near death. The other a baby just barely born, left out to freeze to death. We have a population of people who see nothing wrong with beating, starving, fighting dogs, or leaving them chained 24/7. They are an object, a dollar sign. What kind of neighbor is someone like this? What kind of parent role model are they, teaching their children cruelty, violence, and apathy, that life has no value and snuffed out with ease? Animal violence leads to human violence, and there is plenty here. 4 years we've been here speaking on the need for education on responsible pet ownership through RAS, rec centers, and the classroom. We suggested the need for our own Department of Animal Welfare and Education. The departments we currently rely on are failing these animals. Citizens in our community are putting themselves in danger trying to save whatever dogs they can get their hands on because they cannot bear to allow suffering to continue, doing what 3 different departments won't do. You say you care. Tell that to the 3rd Street dogs that were left chained out in the freezing cold, then brought inside by the owner to be caged 24/7. 2 of them, their heads busted through the cages in a desperate attempt to escape their hell. Heads stuck, unable to move for who knows how long. They are still there left to suffer. What in God's name will it take for you to fight for these souls? They need you now.
Amy Jarawali. Amy Jarawala. Matthew Albert. From the town of Attica.
I'd say to everyone that I'm sure you guys have all seen all the news and all the portraits of these poor animals dying and freezing out in the cold, and you've seen that in the past. And you've seen that in the past few weeks, but at the same time, I'm not sure that you've seen that, because what have you guys been doing for the past 6 years? Really? So my question is, the full scope of the problem has now become clear, and honestly, it's a disgrace. It is a black eye for this city. And what's happened is we've created an amnesty zone for animal abusers. And everyone here should be embarrassed and steadfast, dead set on change, because I am, and I'm not from here. Who is from here? Because right now your taxpayer money is going to defend the city attorney's office, to defend the police when it comes to protecting animal abusers and not enforcing animal cruelty laws. Is that how you want your taxpayer money spent? Okay, because I know, because I'm the one who filed that lawsuit, and I'll keep filing those lawsuits because we are done. We are not here to ask for change, because those girls have called 911 and they have begged and they have pled, and they have pled with you guys, and they have pled with the city, and they have pled with the police, and they have pled with Lollipop, and they have pled with Verona Street for years and years and years and years, and nothing has changed, and it's gotten worse. We are not here to demand change. We are the change. And with that in mind, change works best collectively and collaboratively, and we know that, and we want to work with you. We do, but rest assured that if anyone stands in the way of true reform, if anyone is a roadblock on the road to reform, they will be removed from office through the electoral process. And we will find one of these young, brave advocates with a social conscience to take their place. Work with us, work with me. I'm ready. I'll write every law that you could possibly have, and together we could make Rochester a bastion of animal welfare in the next 2 years.
Ami.
I'm here to speak for the voiceless, the defenseless, the backyard dogs of Rochester. They are not property. They are family. They are locked in cages, reeking in filth, starving, shivering in the freezing cold, panting in unbearable heat, their eyes wide, terrified, pleading, looking for us for protection. In the midst of all of this darkness, there is hope to solve this. Collaboration is key. Law enforcement must work directly with organizations like PARA and Against All Odds Animal Alliance. All citizens have a role to play, fostering, offering donations, volunteering, speaking up. Each act, small or large, can save a life. Anyone can be a hero by helping to protect the innocent. This is a city problem, a moral problem. Every agency, every officer, every council member, every resident must act together. No passing the buck, no excuses. The eyes of every abused dog are upon you. Can you hear them? Can you see their suffering? Can you feel the trust they placed in us and the betrayal of inaction by those in power? Do not look away. Do not hesitate. For every moment we wait, another life is in pain. And the silence of inaction will speak louder than any words ever could. Thank you.
Kevin Lockhart from the town of Webster, followed by Lori Finby.
Sharecroppers. Where is Malik today? I don't think he's ever come to any of these. If we were ESL, Malik would be here. If we were Planned Parenthood, Malik would be here. There's only 9 of you. It's a real shame. The Board of Elections and the state reduces these folks to human capital. Their kids in the schools to products to be trafficked. Child traffickers abusing the kids in the schools. You're involved with your joint commission. The dogs being abused, you don't do nothing about it. You don't follow your own laws on the books. You're letting landlords rent out your properties without any CFOs. You can't follow up on the CFOs to make sure that they have certificates for occupation, whatever it's called, occupancy. Chris Shingleton got shot, 5, 6, 7 times responding to a domestic call. You couldn't put out a press release to honor the RPD officers, 2 of them who are still anonymous, names that you're hiding. Chris Shingleton, how long was he hospitalized for in a coma and you kept his name a secret? None of you came out and said Chris Shingleton of the RPD is heroic for what he did. So what are you folks even doing here? You're sharecroppers. You're racist sharecroppers. You got nonprofits that you're taking all the grant money, distributing it into properties. You're splitting up the tax money amongst yourselves, robbing these folks' money, trafficking their kids, and then you come here. Malik doesn't come here. You folks come in here and look at us and do your business and continue to screw these people over. One day,
Kevin, your time is up.
One day, this city will have suffrage. There will be, these people will elect in Montgomery County. They'll elect volunteer school boards. They'll elect council. there will be a liberation that occurs in this city so that you folks cannot continue to sharecrop and rob the coffers and these people's taxes.
Lori Finby.
Good evening, City Council. Here we are again, trying to get our elected officials to care about the voiceless, suffering animals in Rochester. Our AC officers on call can't be reached because it's after hours or on the weekend. The humane law enforcement investigators apparently don't answer their calls either. It's very disheartening to know that the dedicated animal advocates are willing to go into dangerous neighborhoods without guns or badges to save dogs from freezing to death, but those who are sworn to uphold laws, protect people, and have moral obligations, who also have guns and badges, don't show up in a timely manner. The Section 371 Powers of Peace Officer under the Article 26 of the Agriculture and Market Laws relating to cruelty to animals plainly states, pardon me, may I have a little more time?
Yeah, we'll honor that. Good.
More importantly, under that Powers of Peace Officer, any officer or agent of any said societies may lawfully interfere to prevent the perpetration of any act of cruelty upon any animal in his presence. They legally can remove a dog, then they choose not to. There are animal cruelty laws and sections of laws that are vague, but anyone with an ounce of compassion or decency would agree that leaving a dog outside in freezing temperatures for hours or days would be considered cruelty to animals, and the dog should be removed and brought to safety immediately, and charges can be dealt with later. Abusers are not charged with a felony, misdemeanor, or given an appearance ticket. Animals are not removed and are left behind to suffer. Abusers are allowed to continue to abuse, neglect, and harbor these poor suffering animals. When on earth will you guys do anything to help the animals in this community? Anything.
Samantha Roth.
You let Zyjay rot in the river. You still haven't even went and found Zyjay and pulled up his body. You should be embarrassed.
Excuse me, sir.
You let a 4-year-old
Security, if
go
we can
missing in
have
the
him
river
exit
and you
the
still
room.
haven't found
We can
him.
have him exit
you
the
should
room.
be searching the
Thank
river
you.
for Zyjay to find that poor 5-year-old.
We're actually going to ask him to be removed from the room, please. We're going to pause. We're going to pause. We're going to pause. We're going to ask him to remove from the room.
Leave him alone. Let's continue. Leave him be.
Yeah, let's continue. Let's get this have him for lunch.
We will wait. Superintendent McIntyre.
Samantha.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Samantha Samantha Rolfe Pickard. I am here because the animal welfare system in Rochester is not just broken, it is stagnant, negligent, and complicit in the cruelty we see every day. We are told laws exist to protect the vulnerable, yet those laws are being ignored by the agencies we fund to enforce them. Lollipop Farm, Rochester Animal Services, and the RPD. Recently, when attempting to report clear neglect, I was told by an RPD sergeant that their hands are tied and that they cannot go around kidnapping people's dogs. I am here to challenge that for the record. Under New York State Agriculture and Markets Law, Article 371, every officer in the city has the clear authority to intervene and make arrests for animal cruelty. Rescuing a suffering animal is not kidnapping, it is a legal duty. To call it anything else is a failure of training and a failure of your oath of duty to this community and those you swore to protect. We are witnessing citywide violations of the laws you are tasked with upholding. Rochester City Code, Article 31-4.1, dogs are being tethered overnight during extreme weather far beyond the legal limit. Rochester City Code, Article 31-13, the 4-dog limit for residential properties is being ignored, leading to overcrowding and neglect. New York Agriculture and Markets Law, Article 353, failing to provide proper shelter and sustenance as a Class A misdemeanor, yet citations are rarely issued. When citizens call for help, we are met with jurisdictional finger-pointing between RPD, Rochester Animal Services, and Lollipop Farm Humane Society. While these agencies debate whose job it is, the animals continue to suffer and die in our neighborhoods, and negligent owners face zero consequences. We are not here to ask for new legislation. We are here to demand enforcement of the laws that already exist. We demand a directive from the mayor's office to RPD, RAS, and Lollipop Farm outlining a clear unified protocol for cruelty calls. We demand that no call is closed without a publicly verifiable documented welfare check that adheres to New York state law, and we are done accepting the word of mouth assurances. Silence
your
is
time is up.
no longer an option. Our community is awake, we are watching, and we are willing to
Samantha?
continue to be the voice for
Howard Eagle. Howard Eagle.
Need some kind of sensitivity, professional development. So you say, spoke to me in such a smooth way. She really apologized to me. But my subject is accountability. And before I even get into what I really want to say, speaking of accountability, like Clifford Jr. said, I sent all of you an email. None of you responded. It would have only taken a yes or no answer. You didn't respond except Ms. Lupian. Thank you for responding. I'm here to talk about accountability and leadership. I'm going to talk about a hypothetical leader, right? If there was this hypothetical leader who used his or her power to lock a young black man up, right? Accuse him of a crime, lock him up, have him to spend the night in jail, and then have him to have to spend thousands of dollars to defend himself in court for something that he didn't even do, right? And if you were a witness to this and you watched this leader, this so-called leader, sit on a witness stand and perjure himself, what would you think about? You would probably say that's somebody who should step down. The person probably would not step down because more than likely that kind of person would be too arrogant, right, and think the seat belongs to him or her and wouldn't step down. And if the person did this because the young man that they had locked up only wanted to try to honor his grandfather, and let's say his grandfather happened to be a great man in a city like Rochester, right? A man who is greatly responsible for building a black middle class in a modern-day slave town like this. Let's say that happened, hypothetically. Would you say that kind of leader is evil and probably needs to step down? I would. I don't know if you would agree, but I would. I would say that's wrong. And if there ever was any leader in this town who did that, hopefully they would never do that to another young black person or to any person for that matter. It's wrong. It's evil. And I don't know if you would agree with me, but if there was such a leader, and that the people of Rochester said, well, in a couple of years that leader's up for re-election, we're going to get rid of him. You should help do that.
Dorothy K. Dorothy K. Sabrina Richardson. Johanna Shortino.
I've decided to speak today because I have seen firsthand that the New York State Agriculture and Market Law, Article 26, subsections 331 through 379, have been blatantly ignored by the Rochester Police Department, Rochester Animal Services, and Lollipop Farms Humane Law Enforcement Team. This law is designed to protect animal welfare, as well as allow law agencies to enforce, investigate, issue summons, and arrest owners who violate Article 26. The Lollipop Farm website itself states that law enforcement, investigators are responsible for upholding New York State animal cruelty and neglect laws, as well as charging those that break these laws. As an example, there is a video of an officer stating he had discretion, as was stated earlier, when it comes to how he deals with owners who violate the law. He was referring to Article 26, subsection B, appropriate shelter for dogs left outdoors. Regardless of his perspective, the law does not give him discretion. It is not vague and is stated plainly and succinctly. In fact, there should be no discretion given when it comes to a living being. The laws were designed to level the playing field, to stop animal cruelty. Again, he likened it to the same discretion he might give when writing a ticket. Animals have been left to suffer, and animals are not the same as a traffic violation. These poor animals have become injured, and there have been deaths, in fact, in the city of Rochester. Thank you very much. You want to go back?
Robin Collins. Willette McFadden. Jasmine Brumfield. Albert Agarin. Angelina Surgent.
Hello. Thank you. I had an emergency earlier with my child, so I was running a bit late. I live at 120 Charlotte Street at Charlotte on the Loop. Better? I live at 120 Charlotte Street, right across the street from the East End Green Space. And I have lived there since the building was built. I was one of maybe the original tenants in the building. And over this time, we have watched that space grow from, it was a brick lot, it was a field of grass, and now it's this beautiful green space that we have. And I think it very much mirrors not only mine after 7 years in recovery, but many of my community members, and how we have also grown as a community together within that green space. I have 4 children. Excuse me. 3 of the children have some sort of disability. And having that green space allows them to have a quality of life that I'm deeply, deeply grateful for the 4 walls around me. I could not express it well enough how grateful I am to have a home over our head now, because we were homeless at one point. And but the green space allows us to have an extra quality of life that makes it worth living. Like my son, my son is on the spectrum, my 13-year-old, and he has threatened to lay down in front of the bulldozers, just to let you guys know. But it gives him a place to grow and to spend time and heal, and I'm still able to stand there and feel safe as a parent that I am able to watch him and all my children. And inside our four walls can be very confining, so that helps us get to know our community and themselves. And that's all. Please don't build there. Thank you.
Cheryl Robinson, Inez Burns, Russell Kelly, Dorothy Kay, Sabrina Richardson.
All right, thank you all. This is the end of our Speak to Council session tonight. Thanks to everyone who attended. Our regular council meeting will be on Tuesday, February 24th at 6 p.m. here in Chambers. Have a good night.